If you are somebody who is trying to improve your overall pull-up strength, you have probably seen a lot of different ways to do this. Maybe there's some banded pull-ups. Maybe you're doing assisted pull-ups on the machine. Maybe you're just having somebody shadow you and kind of help you come up. Maybe you're doing jumping pull-ups. There's so many different variations out there. I wanted to look at specifically the difference between an assisted pull-up machine and banded pull-ups and talk about which one might be better for you. So for an assisted pull-up machine, some of the pros is that it is really easy to track. Since it actually uses like a weight pin or a pull pin weight, you can easily see that 1 week I'm only using, let's say, 10 extra pounds of resistance to help me in this, right? So maybe the week after that, I'm going to try to take a little bit of less extra resistance. Or maybe that was too hard, so I'm going to add extra resistance to help me with that assistance. It's very easily trackable, so week to week you can kind of see that, oh, 1 week I was using this, I'm going to try a little bit less, boom, easy to track and progress. Another reason I like the assisted pull-up machine is typically it has multiple different handles. So it might have a neutral grip handle, so your hands are like this. Sometimes it has kind of one that's tilted on its side a little bit, so it's kind of at a diagonal, which can also be a different stimulus for your back muscles and can be a little less aggressive on your shoulders. And a lot of times they do have a straight bar too. There's multiple different grip options, which I think is really, really crucial if you are trying to get the most out of your workouts, because it offers some variety. It can help with overuse injuries, and it can just make it a little bit fun. And one of the last pros I love about the assisted pull-up machine is that virtually anyone can do a pull-up on this machine. You can get this loaded to the point where literally I've had individuals who are very, very, very overweight get up and do a pull-up on this machine simply because the way it works is that it actually adds weight to the, basically there's a counterbalance. So the more weight you add into it, the easier your pull-up is. So you can get it to a point where you have so much weight on that, it's almost like you're doing feather pull-ups, like you're literally just flying in the air, which can be dangerous. But if you are somebody who has very low strength or is just very, very overweight, basically anyone can do a pull-up on the machine. There are some cons to this machine though that I do want to mention. Not everyone has access to this machine, and in fact, not a lot of gyms will have this in general. If you're lucky enough and you live in a gym that has maybe a YMCA or Planet Fitness or has a lot of equipment, chances are, yeah, you'll have this. But if you're in a smaller gym, this is not a very common piece of equipment, unfortunately. So that's kind of one of the things to think about here. You might not always have access to this. If you do have access to this though, try it out for yourself. Because when you notice, you start doing it, you'll also probably notice it's kind of an unnatural movement since your body can't move forward and backward because your legs are usually on a plate to make this an assisted pull-up. You can't really kind of move freely, so you're kind of on a fixed plane. It's a little awkward on your shoulders. It's a little awkward on your back. Some people might not really care for this too much. I just don't really like it, but some people might like it. Some people might like that it's kind of a fixed plane and that it forces you to stay in a straight line when you're going up and down in the pull-up. I particularly don't like it, but those are some pros and cons. On the flip side, the banded pull-up, this is essentially where you're going to put a band around your leg or your foot, tie it up around a pull-up bar, pull it down, and then essentially that band is going to be pulling you up for some assistance to get your pull-ups. So banded pull-ups are great exercise. Some of the reasons they're great exercises is because you can literally do this on any pull-up bar. So I actually used to have in my home gym downstairs, I still have this. It's a door frame pull-up bar. And I used to do these types of pull-ups with my little brother on that door frame pull-up bar. So literally a door frame. I attached this resistance band, I pulled it down, and he could do some pull-ups there. You can do it on a tree. You could do it on a pull-up bar at a park. You could do it at a park that doesn't have defined pull-up bars, but basically anywhere you can do this. And because of that, it's extremely easy to set up. As I said, you literally just attach the band on the top of the bar, pull it down, you're good to go. And of course, those bands will transport anywhere. So if you're trying to get a workout on the go, maybe you're going to be out of town, but you know there's a park and you can get some good pull-ups in. Boom, bring your bands. They transport almost anywhere. So a really good way that essentially you can set up a pull-up regression virtually anywhere that's got any type of bar or just stable object that's pulling off. I keep thinking of a tree, for example. I used to do pull-ups on a tree when I was younger because that's all I had access to. I couldn't do them though. I sucked at them, so I tried to do pull-ups. Some of the cons, of course, to the banded pull-up machine. You can snap yourself. So if you have that resistance band on your leg or on your foot, it can actually snap up into your body and can hit your junk. That's happened to me before. I've hit my my privates, so not a fun experience there. It hurts. It can also snap other parts of your body too, but that's kind of the first one that I think of. Over time, the band does lose stretchiness as well, so it's going to basically require you to replace the bands over time. And this has happened to me too, where I've used a band for a long period of time. And after that long period of time, the band actually snapped. It literally broke. So sometimes it can break, which is of course very dangerous if you're trying to do some of these assisted pull-ups with a band. The good thing about this though is the fact that most of the time when you are doing banded pull-ups, it's with a band that's very, very thick. So you would likely see before it would actually break because the band is so thick. So usually on the bands where it does break, they're very, very thin and they don't take that much. They're just very thin, so they're kind of hard to tell when it's fraying. Those thicker bands you can see very, very easily if they're fraying, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. Of course, they're always awkward to have on, and they're also awkward to get into. So having the band on your knee and having it just resting maybe on your knee or your leg is very, very kind of annoying when you're trying to do pull-ups. Also, if you have it off-centered on your leg, it might pull you towards one side of the bar a little bit more, so it can kind of become an uneven pull-up. So try your best to pull as evenly as you can up on the bar if you are doing banded pull-ups. And if you are somebody who is very overweight, it also might be a little challenging to get into this position with the banded pull-up just because, again, it's very, very awkward. So if that gave you a little bit of guidance on the difference between those two, which is better, go ahead and give this video a like. Greatly appreciate it.